Gematriona, 10:47 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 10:47 is 47 by the rule of channel 40 extension of the PL-89. This is the technology, the methodology that connects all ideas and all of thought. English, Hebrew, and theoretically, potentially, hypothetically, any language. But that might be a bit ambitious, but not out of the question. For now, Hebrew and English is keeping me plenty, keeping my plate full, let's put it that way, to use the expression. Now, why is it significant that it's 10:47? Now, again, to reiterate, I'll keep reiterating in these videos, try to keep them short enough to not to be overloaded with information, but enough to get the main point of that. Gematriona is the fusion of thought and time, thought and clock time specifically. That when I see that it's 10:47 a.m., immediately a thought or many thoughts come to mind by the gematrianic value, the gematrianic engine. Now, 47 equals John. But today is the 7th day of Chanukah. I'm sorry, the 8th day. Today's the 8th day of Chanukah, I'm sorry. And the PL-89 calendar, although I've explained it in many videos, I won't explain it in this video. I'll just say enough to say that the box number that we're in, according to the PL-89 calendar, is box number 7. And this corresponds to the 2nd day of January, and it also corresponds to the 2nd day of Tevet, which, interestingly enough, this year it lines up. So there's an interesting symmetry already, and it's almost like it's the time. It's a very auspicious time for it to start connecting the ideas to the PL-89 because of the symmetry, because it's so lined up. So in box number 7, which would correspond to the 2nd day of Tevet or the 2nd day of January, just as a side note, in the years that they're not matching, which is like most years, this month lineup hasn't happened since, from what I remember, September of 2019. So when it doesn't, you'd have like the Gregorian calendar would be here and the Hebrew calendar would be here. You'd have two different box numbers. Generally, you have two different box numbers. But this month, it's going to be the same box number. So box number 7, by the rule of the extension of the PL-89 channel 40 extension, tells you that 7 is 47, is 87, is 127, is 167, is 207, 247, etc. ad infinitum. Now, obviously, 47 is an 87, but for data collection and for identity and for association, all these kinds of rules can apply because you're not counting something. You're connecting things. There's a big difference. If I say 47 is 87, obviously, something that costs $87, you're not going to be able to pay $47 for it unless you get a 50% discount. But it has to be known how to line up these numbers. But anyway, when to use association. But anyway, 7 is 47, is 87, is 127. That means that John equals 47. English gematria: J is 10, O is 15, H is 8, N is 14. Do the math, that's 47. Why is that important that it's John? Well, John is a name. It's like saying Yochanan. If I said Yochanan, I'd say 124. But we're not there now. If it was 124, it would be 84, 44, and then 4. So now Yochanan could be 4. It reduces down to its root. The lowest number that could be between 1 and 100. Now, what am I doing with that? What's anyone doing with that? What can be done with that? Well, let's let's have a look. One of the projects that I've embarked upon is to gematriatize the Siddur, to have all the tefillas, the prayers, that each word would be gematriatized. And I use the most common gematria cipher. And I came across the word this morning, and it's a prayer that's said every morning in the davening. Baruch she'amar. We say Baruch she'amar. Blessed is the one who said, Veheyitem ha'olam baruch hu baruch Omeir. The word Omeir, since I had it already written down here, Omeir. Where is it here? You find it. Baruch Omeir, right here. Omeir is 247. So immediately when I see the word Omeir, my mind goes 47, because 247 and 447, 647, 847, 200,047, 2,000,047. Any of those are the same 47. So then I see 247, Omeir, which means says. Okay? Says. So, saying in the present tense, Omeir. Like Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omeir. He says. So now, 10:47 a.m., which was 7 minutes ago. We've been talking for 7 minutes now. Just about. And I'm remembering something that I thought of more than 2 hours ago, but it connects to something that I'm talking to now, namely John. John is 47. That means John is Omeir. That means when I say John, I'll think about Omeir. When I say Omeir, I think about John. Maybe the answer to Omeir, any connection, can come from an English, and that would be said by any other language. What if it was Juan in Spanish? Now, the John in question here, his phone number starts with a 471. Now, 471, they have the ingredients of 1047. When I say ingredients, I mean just the components. If you see numbers as colors, then 1047 and 471 are the same thing. With that zero, you just move the zero over and they're the same digits. And what is 471? What is 471? 471 is a word that we say in Kriya Shema every day. It's in the third parsha of it. And it says, Veheyitem. Veheyitem. You should be holy. Veheyitem kedoshim. Veheyitem is equal to 471. Tom is 440, 450, 460, 460 plus 11. Eli, 471. Right? Right. So, why is that interesting? You should be. You should be John. You should be saying. You should be saying John. Maybe. Maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't be. I don't know. But at any rate, in the Daf Yomi, we were talking about 71 judges, the Sanhedrin. And when I see 471, I definitely see 71 there. So, what if the lawyer's name was John, and a lawyer has to do with courts, and the courts are being discussed in the Daf Yomi today. So how about that? What about that? Now, I'm not sure what about that, but when I look at my PL-89 calendar, I know that all these thoughts came together in this day. Now, Omeir is 7, right? But how about, what's the next words of Omer? Omer ve'oseh. What's ve'oseh? If it's spelled ayin, vav, sin, hey, like in the other siddur, it was oseh, is 381. Ve'oseh would be 387. What does it say here? 38 and 7. Omer ve'oseh goes together. 387 goes together. Omer ve'oseh. How did that happen? How did it happen? I don't know. $10:47. Wow.